What's going on, nation? Today I want to talk to you guys about how keeping tension in the muscle is cheating you from maximizing your gains in the gym. And now we've heard this all the time, that the reason why people don't go all the way down on a bench press or all the way down on a dip, all the way down on a pull-up or fully extend on a curl is because they want to keep tension in the muscle. But what is tension? Like, what is this really doing for us? What is not fully extending on an exercise actually doing? And the way I want to relate this is, first I want to discuss something, and I kind of want to relate it to like a real world scenario. I'm going to talk about Newton's first law of motion. And it's very simple. I'm not going to get too scientific with you guys, but basically what this states is that objects in motion tend to stay in motion, and objects at rest tend to stay at rest. And if an object is at rest, it takes an external force to get it to move again. So now if we apply that to the gym, and we apply that to the exercises that we do, stopping during a movement isn't taking tension out of the muscle. If anything, it takes a lot more force to stop at the bottom of a movement and then reapply that force to bring, say, the weight back up during a curl. And if you think about it, the real problem people have, and the reason why tension is always brought up, is because most people don't like training through their sticking point. And what your sticking point is, that's the part of the exercise where you get stuck or you stick. For example, if you were doing a curl, if you go all the way down and then you can't bring the weight back up, that's the sticking point. On a bench press, when the bar goes down to your chest and you can't push back up, that's the sticking point. Basically, anywhere you get stuck halfway through a rep, that's where you're sticking. Now, I personally don't think it's a good idea to avoid the sticking point. And if you do some research on your own, you'll find out that working through your sticking point is going to get you better gains in the gym muscle-wise. It's also going to help you make better strength gains. For example, there's a couple different ways you can train. It's called pause reps, and you can do pause reps a few different ways. One way that I found online, I haven't tried this way myself, but what you do is you pick up the weight, say you're benching, and you bench as much weight as you can for one rep, and you bring it down, bring it up, okay, just a regular tempo, then you re-rack the weight, and then you wait like 10 seconds, and then you do it again. And you basically would complete 5 to 6 reps of doing it this way, taking the weight off, benching it, waiting 10 seconds, and then doing it again. And then once you're able to do that weight up to 10 times, you would increase it by like 10 pounds or 15 pounds. A way that I like to do pause reps is I'll actually just stop at the bottom of a movement. So if I'm benching, I'll stop on my chest, pause for a second, and then push through. And the reason why I like to do pause reps is because it's allowing me to not utilize this slingshot effect that happens when you say you're keeping tension on the muscle. And I'm going to explain this to you guys right here. Keep in mind, that Newton's law of motion, things that tend to be in motion stay in motion. So I'm going to pick up this curl bar, and I'm going to show you guys a few examples on a few different exercises because I want you to go to the gym and I want you to see it for yourself and try it. So we're just going to do this curl real quick, okay? So I'm going to bring the weight all the way up and all the way down. And as you can see, I'm able to go down and back up pretty easy. Now, if you were to do that same curl and go up and then come down at the bottom and then pause, you're taking that slingshot out of your muscle. Your muscle's coming to complete rest, and then you have to then re-engage all that force to bring it back up. And you're going to notice quickly that it is harder to do this because you're stopping the object in motion and then reapplying force to bring it back up. What happens with most people, and they don't realize this, and now that I'm curling, I use the curl as an example, is most people are already thinking about bringing the weight back up as they're going down. So you're going to come down, and when you get to about here, you're already thinking about reapplying half of your force to slowly lower the weight and then bring the weight back up. So you're using that tension to cheat yourself out of working through the sticking point of the exercise, which is the bottom of the movement. Same thing on a bench press. If you guys are benching, obviously you're picking the weight up, okay? And I want you to try it. If you bring the weight down and go up right away, it's a lot easier than going down, pausing for a second, and then going back up. And it doesn't even have to be a long pause. It can be like just 1/10 of a second. Just come down, pause, and then go back up. And you're going to feel your chest engage a lot more as opposed to using momentum or just basically going down and going up and using the momentum of the exercise going down to reapply the force to push the bar back in the air. You see this a lot with dips too. And with dips, and you see it, it's kind of like a fish out of water, is what I like to say, where you'll see someone doing a dip, and as soon as they get to here, it's already one of these. And they're just using that bounce at the bottom of the movement. Even if they go all the way down, it's boom, like this. Try doing a dip with the same amount of weight, going down, pause, and then back up. Down, pause, and then back up. You're going to find that that same weight is a little harder because you're pausing at your sticking point, which is the bottom of the movement. And now with pull-ups. I know you guys have all seen this. Not fully extending on a pull-up allows you to create an amazing slingshot. And you can keep all kinds of tension in your muscle, but you're not going to get as strong as if you were to work through your sticking point, which is the bottom of the movement right here. And so if you're doing pull-ups, you stop at the bottom, fully extend, and you have to keep reapplying that force to pull yourself back up, you're going to get a lot more engagement than if you were to use the slingshot and do one of these. I'm keeping my elbows forward, I'm not fully extending my elbows, and I'm using that pressure I feel in my back as I get to the bottom to slingshot myself back into the air and complete the exercise. So I hope this video gave you guys some insight as to why using tension is just an excuse that's cheating you out of maximizing your gains in the gym. If you want to get big, you need to work through your sticking points and put the work in when doing your repetitions. Now don't get me wrong, you're still going to see some results even if you're using momentum doing your exercises. But why do that when you can maximize your gains by stopping at the bottom of your movements and then having to re-engage that force and maximize the amount of muscle fibers being used in every repetition? So ask yourself a question. Are you going to the gym to impress everyone with how much weight you can lift, or are you going there to maximize your gains? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. For more great tips, exercises, and routines, feel free to join us on scotthermanfitness.com. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.